Imagine a god, not just any god. A figure wielding a club that deals death with one end and grants life with the other. A being whose cauldron magically overflows, feeding armies without fail. A master musician whose harp can command the very emotions of his enemies, making them weep, laugh, or fall into endless sleep. This isn't some minor deity. This is the Dagda, the good god of ancient Irish myth. But good didn't just mean virtuous, it meant good at everything. He was the All-Father, the master craftsman, the fearsome warrior, the potent druid. His story is one of immense power, strange magic, brutal warfare, cunning deals, and surprising vulnerability. Forget what you think you know about gods, because the Dagda breaks the mold. To understand the Dagda, you first need to know his people, the Tuatha Dé Danann. Think of them not quite as gods in our modern sense, but as a tribe possessing incredible magic and skill, arriving in Ireland shrouded in mist. They came to claim the land as their own, but Ireland was already inhabited. Conflict was inevitable. The Tuatha Dé Danann were masters of art, science, magic, and warfare, and the Dagda stood as one of their most vital figures. He wasn't just a leader. He often was the leader, the strong foundation upon which much of their power rested. His title, Ollathair, literally means All-Father, signifying his protective patriarchal role. Another title, Ruad Rof Hessa, marks him as the Lord of Great Knowledge. And his power wasn't just inherent, it resided in legendary artifacts. First, his cauldron, the Coire Ansic. It was said that no company ever left it unsatisfied. It represented boundless hospitality, abundance, and the crucial ability to sustain his people. Then, his fearsome club, the Lorg Mór. One touch from one end could slay 9 men. A touch from the other could restore the dead to life. This wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of his absolute control over the fundamental forces of existence. Life and death itself. Finally, his harp, Uaithne. This wasn't for mere entertainment. When played, it could evoke overwhelming sorrow, uncontrollable joy, or a profound slumber upon all who heard it. It could also command the seasons, bringing order to the world. These weren't just tools, they were extensions of the Dagda's immense multifaceted power. The Tuatha Dé Danann faced challenges. After establishing themselves, leadership fell to a king named Bress. Bress had Fomorian blood, the Fomorians being a rival race, often depicted as sea-dwelling giants, representing chaos and the harshness of nature. Bress proved disastrous. He was stingy, oppressive, and utterly lacked the vital quality of generosity expected of a king. Under him, the Tuatha Dé Danann suffered. Even the mighty Dagda was reduced to manual labor, forced to build forts for the unworthy king, a deep insult to his status. This humiliation fueled resentment, leading inevitably towards a massive confrontation, the Second Battle of Mag Tuired. This was a fight for survival against the formidable Fomorians. Before this epic battle, a crucial encounter occurred. The Dagda met the Morrigan, a powerful goddess associated with fate, prophecy, and the fury of battle, often appearing as a crow. They met by a river, and their union was both strategic and physical. They had sex, sealing an alliance. The Morrigan promised to use her magic against the Fomorians, specifically targeting their king, Indech. This union wasn't about romance. It was a raw, primal joining of power, securing vital supernatural aid for the Tuatha Dé Danann's cause. The Dagda's involvement wasn't always glorious. He undertook a dangerous mission, spying on the Fomorian war camp. He was caught, The Fomorians, knowing his reputation for a large appetite but also wanting to mock him, prepared a grotesque challenge. They dug a pit and filled it with a monstrous amount of porridge, milk, flour, fat, bacon, and entire carcasses of goats and sheep. They ordered him to eat it all or be killed. It was an attempt to humiliate the great Dagda, but he accepted. Using a ladle big enough for 2 people to fit in, he consumed the entire concoction, scraping the very bottom. Though bloated and barely able to walk, he survived and escaped, having endured ridicule, but proving his immense capacity and resilience. He turned their mockery back on them. In the second battle of Mag Tuired itself, the Dagda was immense. His club smashed Fomorian lines, his strategic mind worked alongside the brilliant hero Lorg, and his very presence bolstered the Tuatha Dé Danann. They were victorious, shattering the Fomorian threat. But in the aftermath, fleeing Fomorians managed to steal something precious, the Dagda's magical harp, Uaithne. Losing the harp was losing a symbol of their order and power. The Dagda, alongside Lorg and the strongman Ogma, tracked the thieves to their stronghold. They found the harp hanging silently on the wall. The Dagda didn't fight. He simply called to it. "Come, Uaithne, come!" he commanded. The harp leaped from the wall, flying into his waiting hands, striking down 9 Fomorians in its path. Cornered, the Dagda played. First, the strain of sorrow, reducing the fierce warriors to tears. Then the strain of joy, making them roar with uncontrollable laughter. Finally, the strain of sleep. The entire Fomorian host fell into a deep slumber, allowing the heroes to walk out unharmed. He had reclaimed harmony through his unique magic. Whew, intense stuff. If you're finding this journey into myth fascinating, take a quick second to hit that like button. It really helps the channel bring more stories like this to light. And even better, drop a comment below. What's your favorite magical item? The cauldron, the club, or the harp? Or perhaps tell us which other mythological figure you'd like to see explored next. Now, the Dagda wasn't just a warrior king defined by battles and artifacts. His personal life reveals a more complex, even morally ambiguous side, driven by desire and cunning. He became infatuated with Bóinne, the beautiful goddess intrinsically linked to the river Bóinne. There was a significant obstacle. Bóinne was married to Mór, another powerful member of the Tuatha Dé Danann, often considered a judge or steward. This didn't deter the Dagda. To pursue the affair undetected, he concocted an elaborate plan. He sent Mór away on what seemed like a day-long errand. But then the Dagda unleashed his immense power over time and nature. He commanded the sun to halt its journey across the sky, freezing it in place for 9 whole months, while the world outside experienced a single extended day. Within this bubble of manipulated time, Bóinne conceived and gave birth to their son, Og. When Mór finally returned, none the wiser. Only a single day had passed for him. It was an astonishing display of the Dagda's might, bending reality itself, but it was rooted in deceit and adultery. This act shrouded Ingus's parentage in secrecy, a fact that would eventually surface. This hidden lineage and the Dagda's actions had lasting repercussions. Years passed. Engus grew into a young man, renowned not for brute strength, but for his sharp intellect, charm, and clever words. These traits were perhaps inherited from his cunning father. Aware of his true parentage, Engus sought out the Dagda. He approached his father near the Dagda's magnificent dwelling, Bóinne. It was a place of immense power, often associated with the real-world Neolithic monument Newgrange, believed to be a portal to the otherworld. Angus didn't demand recognition or inheritance outright. Instead, he used a carefully phrased request, playing on ancient Irish customs and the binding power of a spoken oath. He asked his father, the All-Father, to grant him possession of Brú na Bóinne for just a day and a night. The Dagda, perhaps feeling a pang of guilt, paternal pride, or simply underestimating his son's wit, readily agreed. It seemed a small temporary concession, but Angus immediately revealed the trap. "Great Dagda," he lightly declared, "since all of eternity is made up of day and night, you have granted me Brú na Bóinne forever." The Dagda was stunned. He realized he'd been irrevocably bound by his own word, outmaneuvered by the very son born from his own trickery. He lost his cherished home, a potent symbol of his status, proving that even the Lord of great knowledge could be ensnared by clever legalism and underestimation. Following the victory at Tuired, and despite losing Brú na Bóinne, the Dagda assumed the high kingship of the Tuatha Dé Danann. He ruled for many years, perhaps 80 in total according to some texts. His reign brought a period of stability and prosperity, leveraging his wisdom and the abundance symbolized by his cauldron. He was the respected All-Father, guiding his people. However, the seeds of his demise had been sown long before. During the fierce fighting in the Second Battle of Tuired, he had sustained a grievous wound. The wound was from a poisoned spear thrown by the Fomorian warrior Cethlen. His immense vitality, and perhaps his own life-restoring magic, allowed him to survive and rule for decades. The poison worked insidiously within him. It was a slow, festering injury that even his power couldn't fully heal. Over time, it weakened the mighty god, draining his strength until, finally, the poison claimed him. The great Dagda succumbed not in a blaze of glory, but to the lingering effects of past conflict. So stands the Dagda, the good god, the All-Father, master of life and death, abundance and harmony, a figure of immense strength, skill and magic, yet marked by trickery, desire, vulnerability to cleverness, and eventual, inevitable decline. His stories echo, a powerful reminder of the rich, complex tapestry of Irish mythology.